Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back to Zeus with Bruce. Today we have on a special guest that I had met at the UPW event I told you all about. Sofia, welcome.
Hi,
Bienvenido.
thank you for having me here. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. And very excited to just know more of the backstory, how you're getting to where you are now. For everyone who doesn't know you, let's give a little backstory. What's the story of Sofia and sort of how she got from point A, which is in the beginnings, to sort of where she is today?
Okay, this could go many ways.
Let's
Um,
let's do it in the sense of more taking the way of maybe upbringing a little bit, but also
mhm,
well, because what you're doing right now is super fascinating
mhm,
with health and fitness. So maybe
yes,
if you want to segue into that, we can tackle that.
definitely. So, just a little bit about me. I am and grew up in Florida, but my family is Ecuadorian. And for health and fitness, so I am a health and fitness coach, women's health coach, and it goes into how I felt. I was actually having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and one of the things that women struggle in the most is self love and self confidence. And I never had that self love or self confidence for myself. When I was little, I was always a little bit bigger, but it was just the way I also viewed myself and living with a Hispanic culture as well. Every time I went to go visit, Sofia, you're a little bit fatter, or
Mm,
um, just all these comments, and they would always get to me. And I was also a dancer, so I was always surrounded by people that were very thin, and just I didn't view myself in the way I should have. And as I grew up, when I was 17, actually, I started losing weight, but I did it in the unhealthiest way possible, where I was eating under 1,000 calories and exercising like 3 times a day. But people started commenting and saying, like, oh, wow, you look amazing, all this. And
mm,
I myself did not feel amazing. I thought I did because I was smaller, but in a way I was miserable. And
mm,
I got to weigh like 120 pounds, and I still wasn't happy. I still didn't understand why that was, but all of this, I started to understand a little bit more. And as time, then I went to college, and a lot of life happened, and
oh wow.
we've had many. There's a lot more to it all, but in during that time, I went out, and I kind of feel like I lost myself in certain aspects. I discovered some things actually during UPW and some other retreats that I've been to, of memories that I pushed back, of things that did happen, and um, and I kind of lost myself in a sense.
Mm,
In like my health and my spirituality and my mindset. And after I graduated college, I was working as a nanny, and just I felt lost, like I didn't know who I was.
mm,
And afterwards, it got to a day where I was just like, Sophia, you can't do this anymore. Like you can't keep going this way, because if I do, then something like you're not going to be living, and you're going to just continue struggling. And so the first thing that I did was, okay, let's start getting fit, healthy. And so I started more with nutrition. It was something that I actually always loved, and I left it
mm.
behind. Actually, funnily enough, um, I started studying nutrition in college, and then I switched to early childhood education, which is
Mm.
what I graduated from. But I think in my heart, I think nutrition was always there.
Wow.
And so I started with like weight loss and this and I still felt I was like, okay, something's missing. This isn't all that there is. So I started meditating and journaling, and then I was introduced into the world of Tony Robbins one day during COVID.
Oh, during
And
COVID.
yes, actually. So
Wow, nice.
it's funny when I say that this switch has been very fast per se. It's been um exponential.
Okay, there we go.
And I was sitting one day, I was helping my dad with something with his work, and I had been working as a teacher, and I knew I didn't necessarily love that. Like, I liked it, I enjoyed it. It's a
Mm.
beautiful profession. I love kids. Um, and I was watching the I'm Not Your Guru, and after that, I was like, there's something more. Like,
Mhm.
there's more. And it was just, it kept coming to me. And so one day, I was also a huge people pleaser. I didn't really listen to myself or anything. And
Mm.
um, that is a big one.
Yeah, I mean, just so what you're saying resonates not just with me, but I think with people who are, I mean, specifically even Latinos. I mean, myself, I'm Brazilian, so
Mhm,
South American, Central American, the
mhm.
culture, the influence, and how there is that reinforcement that occurs. Like as you were saying, when you were younger
Yeah.
and you were started to lose weight, you were eating less than 1,000 calories, working out 3 times a day. Maybe, I mean, not maybe, it's not definitely not super healthy to do that, but the reinforcements, because before that you weren't getting any of that. So then now
Mhm.
you switch your behavior, even though you perceived it as let's say being healthy or beneficial to yourself, in reality it wasn't, but with that
Yes,
reinforcement it comes in. Yeah,
exactly.
a lot of that comes in, and it's yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so pertinent, especially like you're saying with like women and like body image and things like that. How I think even now they did some statistic where I think it's from 2014 to 2020. The like one of the most troubled groups. I don't know the descriptor, but
Mhm,
is as teenage girls, right? Because they're
mhm.
comparing themselves with so many people on social media, body image, and it's just accelerating. So you're
Yeah.
definitely speaking to a very specific crowd that is most likely going through something so similar.
Mhm. Well, if it helps anybody, I'm happy to help
Yeah.
because I know what it's like to be there, and, like, the reinforcement that you were saying, it was all about the reinforcement. I was like, "I feel
Mhm.
good, but other people see that." I was seeking so what I realized, and this goes back then, is I was seeking acceptance from everybody else except for myself. Um, I
Wow. Yeah.
remember, um, and we don't realize that. We don't realize that we're seeking all that acceptance from everybody, but really what we need to seek is like that inner love, that inner confidence, that inner acceptance. And once you have that, then it's gonna make life a lot more beautiful and a lot easier. We constantly try to change the environment around us too, but if we change ourselves, then the environment that we're in is gonna change.
Hmm. But then, like, let me ask you this then: what would someone's reason be saying, "I can love myself all I want, but if other people don't like me, then who cares?" You know, because some people actually think like this, and if
Mhm,
it's more if there's a quantity, and it doesn't even matter about the depth, that if there is that
mhm,
reinforcement, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll work out 5 times a day. I'll eat 500 calories. So how do they combat that? And let's say if they're in a
mhm,
situation or anything like that where it's just positively enforced, and even if you go on your phone, before if you go to school and then you leave, you're not going to get bullied anymore. You're not going to have those interactions. But now
mhm.
when you leave school, you're in your bed about to go to sleep, turn on social, and all your girlfriends they're just commenting on you. And how does one really tackle that?
If somebody is are you? Because I think this could go if you're what I realized within myself, and this was something recent, it was that I was seeking acceptance from other people being somebody who I'm not.
Hmm.
So I wasn't happy and I wasn't being true to the people that supposedly like me either.
Mm,
And this was in the past. And it's like, if I'm gonna have other people connect with me, I want them to genuinely connect with me for who I genuinely am. And if you are getting these positive reinforcements from Instagram and you don't feel healthy, or if you're on a journey to become and create healthier options and a healthier life, you have to make it known and
mm,
set. I don't like not boundaries, but set limits for yourself. Where it's on Instagram, I always tell people and my clients, it's if you are on Instagram and after you get off, you feel worse about yourself or you feel more drained, then you are not following the right people.
mm.
And
Yeah.
so, look, you have to look for people that fill you up, and that goes for people in your life and for people that you follow and you that inspire you and motivate you. And that's all I wish to ever do. Like, my intention is never to be like, oh, like, get off get off your butt and start moving. It's
Mm.
let's create all this habits for the right reasons,
Mm.
because we can be doing the same exact habits. I can be working out and eating healthy and doing everything, but the intention behind it is the most important thing. I
Mm.
say if I exercise to lose weight, or if I exercise because it feels good and to get stronger, it's the same exact thing, but two completely different intentions.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. So you're saying focus on the intention behind it, not just because provides you a different result, but also, whenever I'm speaking with anyone, whether with coaching or anything, just development wise, it's always reminding them about, how the why comes first and how second, reasons come first, answer second.
Mhm.
Because if you don't focus on the why, you're just being pushed, right? Like the
Yes,
intention, like you're being pushed. But if it's genuine, like you're saying, there's more of a pull, and like gravity, you can't really fight the pull. The
exactly.
current of the ocean, it's only going to keep pushing it
Mhm.
and to run with it. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's beautiful. Okay, powerful. And you managed to turn this into a career.
Yeah.
I saw that CEO, right, which is also definitely awesome. Of SoFit. Maybe I'm incorrect with how I said
Yeah.
it, but this is right. Let's talk a little bit about how you navigated this area, because even just starting a business is incredible, but also one where you managed to turn pain, right? This was a painful experience for you growing up, into a passion, and then turning that passion into one that can help others and even bring in the finances, which are always important. Um,
Mhm.
what was that journey like?
It's been quite a journey. And it's still my baby. It's still,
There we go.
raising, and, so actually after I was saying that I realized that teaching was something that I loved, but it wasn't my passion. I saw other teachers when COVID started, they were all coming in and they were all super excited and they're like, "Yeah, we're creating these plans and everything." And I was like, "I don't have that excitement." I'm like, "But I want that excitement about what I do."
Mm.
And then I realized that, and I kept taking everybody's opinions, right? Like, what should I do? What should happen? And I was like, "Sophia, you already know the answer." So what I did was 24 hours of silence. I it was something that came to me one night. Like, I was gonna go to bed and I was so, like, jumbled up with all these things coming into me, and like, you should do this or you shouldn't do this, or you should go back to Ecuador because I was teaching in Ecuador. You shouldn't go back. And I was just so confused and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, "Sophia, tomorrow you're doing 24 hours of silence."
Mm.
And those 24 hours, it's because I think so many times we look for answers from everybody else, and we look for everybody else's opinions and what they have to say. And I was like, when was the last time I actually truly listened to myself? And so I took that time and I realized I'm like, teaching is not what I want to do. And it was really hard for me. I was like, how am I going to tell my parents? Like, this is what I
Mm.
studied. Um, and I was like, I'm not sure what I want to do. But I had always had, like, when I was teaching actually in Ecuador, like, I already had all these ideas about nutrition and health and, like, true health, because I had already started my journey. And but at that time, I still didn't feel 1000% about myself. I
Mm.
actually saw this journal entry a while back where it was like, this is like, I had lost 20 pounds at that time, and I was like, this is the only way that I feel I can be accepted by everybody around me.
Mm.
And feeling that, like, I see that now, I'm like, I can't believe I used to feel that way.
And that's the criteria you built for yourself, and
Yes.
that's the mark that you had put.
Yeah, I used to have that, and so I remember the next day I went up to my dad, I'm like, "I don't know exactly what it is that I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do."
Hmm. Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
it's funny how I think we also talked about that, how knowing, like, we focus so much on what we don't want, right? And then it's weird because we never actually ask ourselves or ultimately figure it out,
Mhm,
what we do want, right?
mhm,
Like,
yes,
what we know what we want to avoid,
mhm,
avoid all that pain. Sure,
avoid
but
pain, yes.
what's the thing that's gonna bring you pleasure? Where's that gonna come from?
Exactly, so that's when I decided, I'm like, go on that journey. So I started working at Whole Foods for a little bit, and I was looking into all of this. I hired my own coach, and one day I don't remember exactly what it was, but because I had already been considering this over time, I was like, I'm gonna be a coach and like help people because I had already started. But at that time, it was like only health and fitness. Like that was my idea, and then I started a coaching school and well, a certification, and I started applying everything that I learned into my life. And the one that I did was Institute of Transformational Nutrition, which I loved because it was mind,
Could you say
body,
that again? Sorry. What kind of nutrition?
Institute of Transformational Nutrition.
Okay, okay,
Sorry, I said
yeah.
that a little fast, didn't
No,
I?
it's all great. I just was like, "Wait, did I miss that?"
Yeah, and I really loved it because it was mind, body, and spirit, and
Mm,
that's
yeah.
where we have to have those 3 pillars. Um, SoFit Movement, actually, the motto that I have for it is fit body, fit mind, fit spirit, where we can be fit in every aspect of our lives. It's not about body or shape or size, it's health, like true health, and for
How would
true.
you let me ask you real quick, Sophia, before we continue, because I
Yeah.
had someone on before where we were talking about health with a large focus on it.
Mhm.
How would you define, health?
Health, oof, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I mean, I know there's the health is energy, and then health is body of mind and spirit, everything that's connected and functions. For someone who's within this field, and this is what you've really invested in, how would you define that? But and then continue. Just
yeah,
curious for that, Mark.
um, vitality, energy,
Mm.
balance. I think so many times, I mean, it's a balance of the way that we think, the way that we live, like our physical body as well. That's super important. But the way that we think is going to play a huge part into that. The way that we deal with our emotions, the way that we live out our spirituality, which I think is very important as well. All the creating this balance in between it is what is going to give us true health because it's like a 3 bar stool, like mind, body, spirit. If you focus all on just your body, you're still gonna feel that something's missing. Like that time when I was like, okay, I'm skinnier, I'm smaller, because that's what I thought was health then. That's what I thought was important.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
other aspect of my life was down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. That's really why I asked for the definition because it's how. What are your parameters? What's your measurement?
Mhm,
And if health for you is just super skinny,
mhm.
sure. And then if that's your focus, that's where your energy is going to go, and then
Yes,
you're ultimately going to work to achieve that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. So I think that would be just being able to live out that balance every day of your mind, your body, your spirit, dividing time into yourself, into your work, into your family and friends. Because so many times we try to focus all on one thing, and you're gonna feel off balance.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, I mean, I've just been really working just crazy hours, and I
Mhm.
did actually injure my neck, so I haven't been able to really work out for the past 2 weeks. But even then, I've been focusing solely on one aspect of just the body or of a mission, and then neglecting the other parts. And it's crazy because the mind over matter part is actually working quite well. So I think I have the energy because the pull is so strong. But even then, there's some parts of the body that are kind of not breaking down, but they're giving way a little bit because they're not
Mhm.
being nurtured, nourished, stretched even. It's like
Definitely.
you're saying with the stool with the 3 legs. Yeah, I mean, you gotta find a way to support the balance and support the
Yeah.
seat, or you're gonna fall.
Definitely, and I think it's always gonna be like there's always gonna be, like, a little wobble, because
Ah,
you're always gonna be
yeah,
focusing on one thing, and it's like, "Okay, how do I create this balance?" But as long as you're constantly trying to find that balance, I think it's very important, whereas if you're just focusing on one thing and you leave everything else behind, then it's the same thing if you only focus on mindset, but then your body isn't in shape and everything, you're not gonna find that energy and that vitality that you're looking for.
mm,
So
yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe it's like that Latina thing where if
mhm,
there's a a table or a stool with the legs and one of them's wobbling, you get a piece of paper and then you fold it and then you just put it underneath.
Put it on
So
hold.
yeah, you gotta fold it, create maybe like half an inch, and then you just put it.
Yeah.
The only problem with that though is it's not a permanent solution and it's just a temporary fix. It's kind of like a band-aid.
Yeah.
It works, but for the short term.
Only for
Long
so
term,
long. Exactly.
yeah,
But yes, finding that balance between all 3 is very
excellent.
important.
And then you've been doing SoFit
Mhm.
for like it's been a year, it's been a little less, a little more.
SoFit started in July, actually. So
Oh,
this
okay,
was
cool.
because I was working as a health and fitness coach with another coach. I was working for her, and, things changed a little bit, and she I feel like I thought we had the same mission in a way where it's about creating true health and self-love and self-confidence and, like, I have I have ways of doing it and really creating this a lifestyle and making sure that everybody's doing it for a right reason, and all my clients are lifestyle clients. They're not preparing for a competition or anything where it's like, "Follow the macros, you have to exercise every single day, you have to do all this," and that's not what a lifestyle is, right? Like, things are gonna
Mm,
happen, and helping them create that balance and that love for themselves and a love for the process. Because if you feel that you're being, like, bogged down every single day in a way, then you're not gonna love it, and you're gonna, like, "This is too hard," and they're gonna give up. Um, so that happened, and she changed the name of the program to the Bad Bitch Blueprint.
Bad Bitch Blueprint.
Yes, and that
Love it,
just
love it.
didn't sit well with me.
Well, I like the name. I don't know about the
Yes,
program.
yes.
That is
No,
a really sick name.
that I mean, it is a cool name. I completely agree.
It like
And
rhymes like dun 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 dun. Very
yeah.
somatic. Love it, love it.
It sounds amazing, but at the same time, that's not me, and it's not the
Mm,
message that I send out because she was telling me that she was looking for somebody who cursed and who sold, like, parts of me that it's not me
yeah.
at all.
Okay.
And she just wanted to focus on the physical transformation. I'm like, well, technically, she's like, "I wanna focus on the transformation." I'm like, "Which type of transformation are you talking about?" And it was just the physical one, like the pictures. I'm like, that's not the thing that matters the most. I mean, like,
Mm.
yes, I'm gonna get them there, and they do get there, but if this hasn't changed and their heart hasn't changed, then I haven't done my job right. I haven't completed my mission.
Wow. And like you're
And
saying with the mission, because they're two, and mission again is pull. It's about the
exactly,
pull.
exactly, and it just didn't sit right with me, so we parted ways, um, and when that happened, I had one of my clients, when we started, she had told me that she had never been able to tell herself that she loved herself, that she had never had confidence to wear certain types of clothes, like, all these things, and we had been working for 3 months, and she goes on and says, "Sophie, I never thought I could love myself and love life this much."
Wow. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That turnaround. So yeah, you're literally getting someone from, and like this is part of your mission, right? You
Mhm.
didn't go with the bad bitch blueprint.
Yeah.
You're focusing on like your mission, the health all around. And what does that feel like to have that, even just that first person or even one person have that turnaround and say something like that?
I literally got chills.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, because I mean, I've been in that situation too, and that
Exactly.
sense, so
Yep.
it's like, I know what it's like to go from that place to complete love for oneself, and having them say that, and I'm like, "I made the right choice."
Wow. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Excellent. Hopefully there's more momentum that goes on with this. And of course, with the compounding, it's just going to continue. With
Definitely.
all of this, I mean, there's so much progress, so much that has been done. Now, of course, we like to talk about all the successes right here that happen. But
Yes.
within this journey and also just going up, and this not to necessarily be with career-wise with SoFit, but just something else that we like to talk about, of course, growth and all this stuff, but an
Mhm.
area where there was a failure, quote unquote, or a lesson, and what you managed to take away from it that you feel would resonate, or even one for you that's quite, that's just kind of always there, always in the back of your mind.
Hmm. There's so many.
So
Biggest
many lessons. There we go.
So many
Beautiful.
lessons. Yes. Actually, it's I did part of Date with Destiny.
No way. This past weekend?
Yes, like 2
Wow,
weeks ago or
nice.
so.
Oh, wait. Oh, see, my timing
Yeah.
gets off.
I
Okay.
know, time is I'm like, it's the 18th of December, what is going
It
on?
it's the 18th? Wait, I thought it was the 19th. Oh, okay.
19th?
Point
Maybe.
point
Anyway,
point being is time's a construct, yes. So
um,
then part of Day with Destiny.
and we were doing this exercise, called The Blessing, and it's just filling with gratitude, and in that, I had all these memories flood in, first, like, amazing, beautiful memories, and then it was all these challenges and people that hurt me or that I felt hurt me and, um, all these events, and I started to understand why each one happened and why each event happened and each situation happened, and it was absolutely beautiful, so I guess with my biggest failure, um I'm trying to think of one certain situation right now.
So you're saying one with, from Day with Destiny, you were learning or you were going back to a lot of moments and you figured out what had caused that to happen, and you
It's
previously viewed it as a failure, but you learned something, you're saying.
um, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay, that's alright. Sometimes you know what it is, when we manage to turn the failures into lessons, it's just one massive education that we get, and there's just such a plethora of options. No worries.
I mean, I
Excellent.
think there we I mean, we could use the example of me trying to lose like, which sounds like a huge accomplishment for me was getting to that weight, right, of 120 pounds. It was what I thought was the biggest thing, but I failed because I didn't love myself, and I failed because I didn't have confidence, um, and I really I didn't understand. I didn't understand why that was. So I guess there it was afterwards learning that it's not about creating and getting to a certain number, looking a certain way. It's if you are going to start this journey, it's learning how to love yourself from the beginning, doing it out of love, digging into that why. Because if we do that why out of I want to look better, or I want to be skinnier, or I want to have a boyfriend, it's like then you're not gonna dig in deep for it. So when I start with my clients, it's why do you want to lose weight? Because I want to have more confidence. I want to look better. Why do you want to look better? I want to have more confidence. Why do you want to have more confidence? And
Wow. So yeah, yep, yep. I just
Mhm.
keep going through the why to get to the root of it.
Digging in deeper, and
Mm,
it turns out that some of them want to do it for their kids.
mm.
Some of them, and honestly, right now I'm actually focusing on mothers because I think that once mothers have that self-confidence for themselves and that self-love and prioritizing themselves, then they're gonna be able to show that to their children as well. I had a client the other day tell me, she's like, "Sophia, I told my daughter I said in front of my 15-year-old daughter that I hated the way I looked and I hated my body."
Oh, no. Oh,
And
no.
she was aware, and she's like, "I don't want my daughter to grow up like that. I don't want my daughter to grow up with that lack of self-confidence and lack of self-love that I have for myself." And I'm like, well, the first thing is that's really important is that you created that awareness and you're making changes about it. So talk with her. Um, but I realize that that is my focus right now of helping mothers create that inner self-love or soon to be mothers. I mean, we're all soon to be mothers, hopefully.
Mm.
But
Or mother or like mothers, yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Mhm. Yes, exactly, and just women in general create that self-love and self-confidence, so that way they can pass it on and hopefully their children would not have those problems.
Oh, beautiful. So yeah, learning. So it sounds like the lesson you learned was really what kind of definition you're having, what is the end goal,
Mhm,
and learn like not that it was a failure, but just learning that you were going down, you were doing something for a reason that wasn't
mhm,
the ultimate reason. It was more just an illusion, kind of
mhm.
in the
It was
sense.
it was what I thought was an accomplishment
Mm.
And I didn't like when you got there, it was, why don't I feel the way I expected to feel?
Hmm.
So in a way, it was, did I fail
Mm. Okay.
something? Yeah.
Okay. Powerful. Yeah, it's not just getting to the destination, it's the journey. And then also once you're there, I mean, most of the time it's not always what you really even want. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we really got to work on figuring that out because I think not just with health and anything like that, but within any other area. And, why do you want to become quote unquote financially rich? Let's just say.
Mhm.
Oh, so I can travel everywhere. Okay, why? Oh, because I want to see the world. Okay, why? Like you're saying, we come with a why ladder, you really get to the root. And not that it's
Definitely.
a bad thing, because maybe that end goal is very valuable. It's just figuring
Mhm.
out why, because then again, it can pull you better. And
Yeah.
because the push is always going to run out. The
Yes.
pull, I mean, that's really one of the analogies I love, just with how it's like gravity. You can't really fight it. The pull is going to keep you going.
Mhm. Exactly. Actually, now that you mentioned the whole thing with the why, we did this exercise this weekend. I was at a trade seminar and I was trying to understand, like, they're like, why are you here? And so they had us do like this exercise where it was, write down 4 people you love, 4 things you love, 4 places that you love that you feel at home, and then 4 goals that you have. And so then you write down all 16 of them, and then they're like, cross out 4, cross out 4, cross out 2, cross out 1, and you're left with,
No way. No way. That's great. That's so
right?
great.
And
That's
you're
so
left
great.
with 2 or 3. And I was left with my parents, and it's, I'm here because I want to be able to spend quality time, like have that financial freedom, have that like that time freedom to be able to spend that quality time with my family and the people I love.
Hmm.
And I think that's a beautiful reason, because it's 1000% true. When you have that freedom, then being able to do all that. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so I think that was a beautiful exercise to understand that why for that
Yeah.
past.
No, I like how they ask you a handful of whys or a
Yes.
handful of which ones do you love, and then have you cut them down.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, oh, like the first things
yeah,
were like things. I don't need that. And then
exactly.
afterwards it was like, ooh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because at the core of it, and I mean, for me, it's like, I mean, come on, we could love more than one thing, but
Mhm.
it is sort of getting to the root,
Exactly.
which says that. That's a great
Exactly.
exercise. So you're saying just write forth things you love, people you love, and goals you have, and then narrow them down, and then figure
Yeah.
out. Okay, that's a great exercise. I'm gonna borrow that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
borrow that.
Definitely. That's why I
I'll
had to
give it
say
back. I'll give it back. I'll give it back. Don't worry.
it. Take it. Take it.
Excellent. So we want to tackle this area I like because I like seeing how people uh, what they kind of resonate with historically. So we try to go to if you had to have a coffee like you had this morning
Mhm.
with a historical figure or someone who really just kind of influenced you or that you find fascinating. Who would that person be? What would you want to talk about? And how would it go? Like what would you guys do?
Coffee with a historical figure. Hmm.
Doesn't have to be anyone super quote unquote serious, just someone in life that,
Mhm.
could be Rumi, this poet. Could be anybody. And I don't know
Uh,
why I just came up with Rumi. Rumi's been on my mind a lot lately. I don't know why.
who is Rumi?
A poet
Okay.
from I think like a couple hundred years ago. Very popular. Had a book or something like that. I mean, I actually could be totally wrong, but just a very famous poet.
Mhm. Um, oof, I should have thought of these before.
Oh, see.
Um, I'm not exactly sure.
Hmm.
I think, I mean, not necessarily a historical figure, but my grandmother on my dad's
Oh,
side.
on your dad's side. Okay.
Yes, I never got to meet her, but I've heard such beautiful things about her, and she was a very loving and contributing person, and I think she found that love for herself in so many aspects, and I think learning from people in our generation is something that's beautiful because it helps us uncover and understand ourselves better, our parents better, our lives better. Um, and being able to meet her and hear her stories and see how she grew up would give me a lot more understanding about the way I grew up in a way.
And you could even learn more, not like, yeah, your background and learning about her story, right? I mean, his story, her story, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. Someone who has that context and has sort of the beginnings, right? Like for me, the first time I met my grandparents consciously, like because I did when I was 3, but that doesn't really count.
Yes.
And even my great grandma was in 2012.
Are they
Uh,
in Brazil?
in Brazil, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
like 90% of my family's in Brazil,
Mm.
and yeah, just meeting her, I felt like I was connected to a whole different world. It was incredible
Yes.
because, like you're
Yeah.
saying, that's like, what was the context? What was the upbringing? And just being able to speak with them. Fortunately, I did have the chance. She actually passed away like a month after that, which was just,
Mm.
I mean, amazing timing that I was able to go.
That's beautiful.
And yeah, you can just learn so much, and there's
Mhm.
so much value from the how is it in Spanish? Abuelas, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
From
with
the grandmothers, grandfathers, and all that.
definitely. It's understanding that, like, that generational bringing and, like, everything, like, we always carry it in, and I did this exercise where it's understanding this, and I saw, like, this vision of, like, generation after generation after generation, and that's probably why it came to me because I understand more of my mother's upbringing in a way because I
Mm.
know my grandparents on her side, but not on my dad's side. And so being able to understand that a little bit more would be absolutely it would be a blessing, it would be beautiful.
That would be such a blessing, and it's yeah, like you're saying, understanding how your uh, your paternal grandmother, yeah, how
Mhm.
she had raised your father, and then your father raises you. You can kind of see the influences, see because a lot of things, or a lot of the ways that parents teach their youth or their kids, it's not just by random, right? It's a lot of how they've been influenced. So
Yes.
having that background, powerful.
Mhm.
I like that answer a lot. And
Mhm.
she's a historical figure, you know. I mean,
Yes.
history is anyone who's been, you know,
In
in
history, she's made history,
she
yes, and
made
my
it. I mean, she had the son who ended up having you. So without her, you wouldn't be alive. That's
yeah.
kind of incredible if you think about it.
Mhm.
She's the
It is
OG.
beautiful.
She's the OG, the original grandma, original grandma.
Yes.
So this other part, which I love this, I love the suggestions we hear from people is, let's say a book or a movie or a podcast that you recommend that you've read, or maybe even one of your favorites that really just resonate at the
Okay.
core with Sophia.
Yes, so many. A book,
Okay, let's hear
actually,
it.
I was just talking about yesterday, it's called The Audacity to Be Queen.
Oh wow, I gotta write that down. I mean, I'm gonna add these in the bottom, but
Yes.
the audacity to be queen.
It's by Gena Devee, and I think it's very beautiful. Just so a lot of women and females lose their femininity, right? And
Oof,
we live in a very masculine world, where everything and it's beautiful. I mean, masculinity is beautiful, femininity is beautiful, but sometimes femininity has been seen as weak. And so using that and tapping into your queendom in a way,
queendom.
because
I love this. I love this.
because there's a difference between a princess and a queen, and it goes into kind of making the life that you wish to create, using that. And I think it was absolutely beautiful. It helped me actually because of that book was when I realized, I remember there was this thing where she says, if you don't leave that job is going to leave you. And
Whoa.
that was the day that we have very strong intuition. We know what we want to do, and sometimes we don't
Mm.
listen to it. And I remember I was walking and I listened to that, and this was back when I was doing the Bad Bitch Blueprint, and I knew I was like, I need to leave, I need to leave, I need to leave. And that quote came up, and I'm like, that's me right now. And the next day, 3 hours later, I had that conversation and we split ways. And I was like,
3 hours later.
yeah, it was. And
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, that was, that
jeez.
was true. But that book is absolutely beautiful. And I think it's very necessary for any woman out there that needs that little push to kind of start living that life that they wish to live and what living that
Mm.
life that they wish to desire and start seeing them as the queen they really are.
Well, yeah, I love the title, The Audacity to Be Queen. And one point that you mentioned with um, how femininity has, I mean, it's become so masculinized, that may be the word
Mhm.
for that. And even also the opposite with masculine energy has become so feminized.
Yes.
And both are beautiful, as you say. It's which one is more true to yourself? Because
Mhm.
as something that we both know is when you get in states of stress or fear, you get very tense. You actually the either whether you're masculine or feminine, you
Yes.
actually go to the opposite to over kind of compensate or just support.
Mhm.
And any kind of polarity that you would have with another individual, or even the ability to stay constant with yourself, goes out the window.
Yes.
And it's a massive problem because you're not really being authentically yourself,
Exactly.
and you're just not lying to yourself, but you're acting in a way that's not the most conducive to your well-being, your health, how you can
Mhm.
operate in a place that's the most beneficial. So
Definitely.
great book. That's an awesome recommendation by Gina Devee.
Yes, it's
Gina Devee.
DEVE. I also love, where is it? I don't have it down here. You Are a Badass.
Oh, is this the one that has like a yellow cover?
Yes, I have it
I
right here. I
Yeah,
see it here.
I gave that to my aunt for Christmas maybe 4 years ago.
That was the
Yeah.
first book, like, self-help book that I ever read.
No way, that's incredible. Wow.
I think I'm pretty sure it was, and I read that, and I was like, and it resonated so much with me, and I absolutely loved it, and I remember I recommended it to one of my friends, and she was like, "Oh, I read it, I hated it," and I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because it kept selling to love yourself," and I was like, "Yes," and I was like, and I think that it can be hard for people who like, I've gotten the comment a lot where it's self-love is selfish, or if you love yourself, then it's selfish, and so for some people, it can be very hard to come up with that idea of self-love if you are so far from loving yourself.
So you're saying if you're so far from loving yourself, even the concept of loving yourself can be viewed as selfish.
It can be viewed as selfish or something that's impossible,
Hmm,
or it's like saying, like, right now, "Yes, I'm gonna be a billionaire." It could be I'm like, "I can see it out there." I mean,
mhm.
now I can see it because I like, you have all these ideas and after you work through so many things, but in the past, you would have told me something like
Yep.
that, and I would have been like, That's impossible, like, I'm never gonna be able to reach anything near that," or, and I don't even billionaire is not my goal, but
Yeah.
it was a number
Any
that
large goal any large goal that you can't even imagine it and comes from a place
something.
of, like, love, and if it's with
Mhm.
the fear of, you won't be loved or you're not enough,
Yeah.
prevents everything from taking place.
Exactly, but
Awesome.
that book is I really loved it. I think it's a good starter book for kind of seeing that power that you have within yourself and
Hmm,
that energy that you have within yourself, and that really, we are in control of our lives, and I think that's the scariest thing when people feel attacked in a way when you tell them the life that you're living right now, you can change it like this,
hmm.
and that's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, that is scary. A lot of the times, I mean, even I've been guilty of that as well, is blaming all the external circumstances. And
Mhm,
there are external circumstances that could limit your abilities, or let's say even like lack of resources. Sure, but like we're saying, it's the being resourceful and finding ways to do it.
mhm,
And of course, there are things that are unequal, that are unjust, and that's all objectively true. And although that may be the circumstance that you were born in, it's really your responsibility to do what you can in order to fix it or to remedy it.
yes,
Which
and
sounds so tough, though. It sounds so difficult to do.
it sounds difficult, but then it's controlling the things that you can, because there's if we focus on all the things that we can't do and the things that we can't control and the things that we still can't yet do, then it's gonna make life difficult. But if you focus I was literally I journaled this morning, it's life is hard if you choose for it to be hard. Life doesn't have to be filled with hate. Life doesn't have to be filled with struggles. You choose to see it and view it that way. And it's the same thing where if you choose to view life as beautiful and life as like filled with opportunities, is this a problem or is there an opportunity?
Wow.
You're gonna face it completely differently.
Absolutely.
It,
Absolutely. Yes, that's such a great point. And yeah, like the event that occurs and what is the story you're going to follow. And it's about the presuppositions that we use
mhm,
with
yeah,
them. Why
completely.
does this always happen to me? You reinforce it, you believe that. Yeah, even as of recently, I think something had happened yesterday with I mean, my days are so odd at this point. But yeah, I just told myself, or maybe it was because I was driving, and the nature of driving, there will be incidents that there's
Mhm.
miscommunication and hopefully not an accident, but things happen, and then maybe I was in the wrong, and the person was upset and gestured to me using an appendage of their hand,
Mm.
uh, we can say. So then I thought, oh wow, shoot. And I thought, wow, did I mess up? Oh my gosh, I'm wrong with this person, so I'm angry, so mad. And then I just, yeah, like you were saying, I thought, okay, what can I learn from this? Uh, this person, they're just trying to meet a basic need. Like one
Yeah.
of their rules were violated by me potentially,
Mm.
and separating that person who that's not necessarily who that person is, but that's how they're reacting in this moment out of fear and out of a rule being violated and a need not being met.
Yes.
It
I always
really
in those
changed the
situations,
whole
I
thing.
always think that they need to go to the bathroom very quickly.
Wow, that's actually a great way to look at that. Okay. Yeah, so we were saying yeah, okay, I see that. Wait,
Like,
they
if
have to go to
they're
the
just in a
bathroom, yeah.
rush or they're cutting you off or whatever it is, like, I just think maybe they just need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, I'm stealing I'm gonna borrow that and the wise.
Take
The
it.
wow, those are great, okay. So, yeah, no, those are actually really great, and with the "you are the badass," finding ways to realize that within yourself.
Mhm.
Would you say this is more geared towards women specifically, or is it
No,
both? I
men
mean, it
and
can be
women.
both, but it's for both.
Men and women.
Okay,
Both.
men and women.
Yes. The queen, I would say mostly feminine.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that actually makes a lot of sense, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's another I haven't personally read it, but a friend of mine was telling me it's called The King Within.
Nice, okay. I'm gonna
I
look that up.
haven't read it, but, maybe there's something there that could
Okay.
be it was very funny because we were looking at our Audible playlist, and I had the Audacity to be Queen, and he had The King Within, and I was
No
really
way.
curious.
Wow, that's really great.
Yeah.
That's really great. So wait a second, how did this work? What? That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are, but one or two movies that stand out, that resonated, that gave Sophia that push or that pull, or just really expanded your perspective?
Hmm. Well, for me, first of all, the documentary of the "I'm Not Your
Oh, it's
Guru," that's
insane.
a
It's
basic
insane.
if you haven't been introduced into the Tony Robbins world, then that's that's a big one because I think that for me was the one that showed me like, "Sophia, there's more to this."
So much more.
And then for another movie that I loved was The Ultimate Gift.
Oh, okay. Well, I never heard of that.
It's really it's I don't know how old it is, but it's beautiful and it's about you see the character development in this one man. He was supposed to be giving an inheritance, and his grandfather passed, and it turns out that he needs to go through all these gifts or um, tasks in order to gain the inheritance. And you see the transformation in him as time goes on. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful because we could be given things so easily, right? I could be if we're given everything, if we reach the top of the mountain and we're just placed there, we're not going to embrace it. We're not going to love it as much as the journey up there and the hike up there and the struggles and the beautiful moments and the laughs and the memories that you create. It's that's part of what life is. And so the
100%.
person that you create along the journey, the person that you become along the journey, you're gonna reach that top of the mountain in a completely different way.
So true. It's not what you obtain; it's who you become, and
Mhm,
that's a similar idea. And I had a friend in Israel when I was living there, and we talk about this, and we'd have so many of these discussions,
mhm,
and great friends, just some different perspectives. And he was saying, no, dude, I don't want to work for anything. I don't care. I just want it. I mean, I'm chilling. That's the best way to live life.
mhm.
And I mean, sure. But I think, like you're saying, it's who you're becoming in the process because once you get everything, you don't have the sense of fulfillment, the dignity, the self respect, something that you earn. And who do you become throughout that journey if you just get everything like that? And I mean, who do you become? There's, there's no, like, you don't build the muscle, you don't
Yeah,
um, challenge yourself, test yourself, and things like that.
exactly. If we were given all the things that we were handed that I wanted in the past, then I
Uh,
mean, you would get them and then you'd be like, "Okay, now I want more." and you would have learned nothing.
Yeah, yeah. That's so spot
Did
on.
you say you lived in Israel?
I did, yeah. I did live in Israel, yes.
Oh, wow. That's
I
amazing.
was there for about a year, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I mean, before that, I lived in Morocco for a year, so that's, like, a whole other thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and just being there, just really yeah, just different perspectives, and, I mean, I'm always for that. Not that I agree with them. I mean, I definitely am very opinionated. I have my opinions for sure,
Of course.
but you see different points of view, and, yeah,
Exactly.
just learning from it.
Definitely.
And also for myself, though, I did used to think, "No, man, are you crazy? No, just give me everything. Look, it's all about perspective. I'll be very content. Trust me."
Yes.
And you will be content, but maybe not as much as you perceive it to be, and further
You're so
duration. Yeah, because
right.
I mean, once you get there, sure, it's enjoyable, but then who did you become?
Mhm.
If you get everything, but you didn't grow in the process, oh my goodness. I mean, what do you get? What do you get? You get certainty, but you don't get the growth.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
very true.
yeah.
And that those
How
lessons.
is there another book, movie, or is there a podcast that's coming in? I mean, of course, Zeus with Bruce, but you know,
Yes, of course.
yeah, of course.
It's funny, I actually started a podcast a year ago.
Excellent.
I
Okay.
did 1 episode, and then
You said one episode. Okay.
I only did 1 episode and I stopped, but,
Okay, that's all
like,
right.
after doing this, I'm like, I think it would be amazing to restart that, so
Absolutely. Okay.
maybe
Okay.
maybe it'll be something there. Um, a podcast that I listen to a lot, and I haven't listened to many podcasts recently because I've been listening mostly to audibles and books, and I have, like, thousands of books around me, um, is The Mindset Mentor.
Hmm. Haven't heard. Okay, tell me about it.
It's they're very short. I love them. They're like 20-minute podcasts that I used to listen on my way to because so on my journey of me trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, I was working at Whole Foods and it was a 30-minute commute. I would listen to one of those every single morning on the way there. Um, and it's just figuring out your mindset, what it is that you want to do, who you want to become. And I mean, kind of mindset if you want to start a business, how to do that, how to view your life, how it's mindset. It helped me a lot. Very short, quick podcast that I loved. Um, and it motivated me and inspired me in a lot of ways. And I think definitely had an impact on where I am today.
Beautiful. The mindset mentor,
Mhm,
and 20, 30 minutes. So I mean, most people are doing either a commute or a walk or something like
mhm.
that, and
Yeah.
it's feeding your brain constantly and just little bits. And I mean, I'm listening to I think what's it's on the Tony Robbins breakthrough thing, and it's one of the courses. I think it's on relationships. So I'm just listening to a bunch, and yeah, a lot of it I do know, but then you always wait for that one little bit of information that can change it. You know,
Exactly.
it's
I
just
always
it's incredible.
It could be like you could be listening to the same thing over and over again. Every single time you're gonna take something different out of it. You reread a book, you're gonna get different information from it.
Ooh, 100%.
Podcasts, it's a lot of the time, and I even said I think it was in my first episode, it's like a lot of the times you're gonna hear the same things or similar things, different stories, but you're gonna hear it in the way that you needed to hear it at that moment. And it's
Yeah,
gonna
sometimes you're not ready to hear or it's
Mhm.
your brain's not ready to receive it in that way.
Exactly. So, like and then one day you'll hear it again, and it's like, "I know I've heard this, but it finally clicked." Like, it just,
Yeah.
like,
You know,
ding.
it's also like watching movies. Like some movies you can watch when you're, let's say, 8 or 15, and then even now I rewatch a lot of movies. I mean, specifically Disney movies because 'cause they're generally geared more towards a younger audience,
Mhm.
and seeing now, like, the kind of the theory, the explanation. Like, for example, I watched The Avengers, let's say,
Mm.
superhero movie. Great, I love the series.
Yes.
And when you're 15, like 10 years ago, you're watching it, and all you think is, "Oh, battles, bad, good, violence." But then later on, I mean, and I'm a very, I study philosophy like
Mhm.
very heavily, and
Wow.
then you see the different philosophical implications or philosophical ideas being explored within
Mhm.
this movie that when you're younger, you just think, "Oh, it's just a bad guy who wants to destroy the universe and,
Oh,
good guys who wanna protect it." And you learn that it's not as black and white.
yes,
You
exact
learn
oh,
it's not black and white.
kids movies are so deep, like,
So deep. Oh my
it
god. I mean,
was so cool.
I just watched Tarzan again.
Oh, Tarzan
She
is
I mean, only because he's kind of my cousin, but yeah. Uh,
Yes.
although I did get called Tarzan. I was in
Uh-huh.
DC. I just went out, someone said, "Man, you look just like Tarzan." I'm like, "Thank you." I think that's a compliment. I'll
I'll
take
take
it.
it, definitely.
Yeah, I
Somebody
mean,
yesterday called me, she was like, "You look like a Latina Marilyn Monroe," and I was like, "Thank you."
wow,
I never
okay.
got that one before.
Definitely gotta leverage that. Wow, you definitely gotta leverage that, and so
Um,
fit.
yeah, she was, she just, like, stopped and she's like, this just came to me."
Wow.
Um, but yes,
I see
kids
it, I see
movies
it,
are
I see
very,
it.
very philosophical. Thank you. I
It
have
can
you
be
seen
very
Soul?
philosophical, yeah. Yeah.
Soul is
Yeah,
amazing.
oh my goodness, that movie, oof. My brother-in-law got me to see it, yeah. Wow.
Absolutely beautiful. I remember one of my friends one of my friends was like, "I didn't personally like it, but I feel like you'd like it. It's all about finding your purpose and stuff." And I'm like, it was
Okay.
absolutely beautiful though.
It was
I just
very
thought it was
beautiful.
funny the way she worded it.
No, it definitely was, yeah, definitely very beautiful. But okay, so yeah, powerful then. I love the mindset mentor. That one just gets you, it's like that daily conditioning, the daily bread, feed
Mhm,
your mind 20, 30 minutes a day. Love
mhm,
the films, The Audacity to Be Queen, You're a Badass, The King Within. Yeah, all absolutely incredible.
mhm.
Any other ones you want to slip in before we continue just towards
Not
the end?
that I can think of right now, no. I'm sure there's a lot more, but
No, no worries. I mean, the ones that come to your mind at the moment, those are the
those are
best
the
ones.
main ones, yeah.
What's next for Miss Sophia? And actually, Sophia is my niece's name. I don't know if I
Really?
told you that. Yeah, and I mean, a Sophia where it's derived from, yes?
The wisdom.
Yep, wisdom, exactly. Yep, yep,
Mhm,
from Greek. And it's funny because I had my sister, she was doing a few months, and then we were talking about names, and
mhm,
then she was just saying Sophia. I said, "Oh, Sophia is beautiful. It means wisdom in Greek."
mhm.
She goes, "Really? Wow." And then a few months later, has her baby. Doesn't tell us what name she picked. It said Sophia. I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I mean, beautiful name, and you
Yes.
can't go wrong with Sophia. You can't. So what is next for, I mean, Miss Wisdom, Sophia, whatever
Mhm.
you wanna go by? Yeah. What's next for you?
What is next for me? Um, I am building up my business, and that's actually I paused it for a while where had my clients, but I didn't look for more, and that's where I fell into this, uncertainty in a way and kind of saw it like that comfort with somebody else in opportunity, and after UPW, I realized that I was hiding and that I wasn't following what my mission is, and I couldn't do that. And so I parted ways, and now we're building up SoFit Movement again, and um, I'm really excited about it. Like very, very excited to be able to help women find that love and that confidence and within themselves, find that inner beauty that they really, really hold because then like if they allow that to shine through, uh, it's gonna be a beautiful world.
Absolutely. I mean, we need more of that and more, empowerment for women, especially teenage girls, where it's just, an epidemic and incredible. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. You said
Definitely.
SoFit Movement?
So
Yeah.
fit, yes. It was actually it came up because one day I was at the gym with one of my friends and or 2 of my friends and we were working out and then people always make plays on my name and he goes, "Ah, so fit." And I was like, "I love it." And I was like, "If one day I'm like, when I open my business, this was like years ago, I'm gonna call it SoFit Movement. Or no, I'm gonna call it SoFit." And that's how it started.
No, beautiful. I love it. And I mean, just the name, the play on words, so fit, it's a health.
Uh-huh.
And it's so fit. Like, oh, it's so fit. Yeah, you want to be so fit? Come join So Fit with So. Yeah.
Yeah, and fit body, fit mind, fit health, a fit spirit, just fit in every aspect. So that's the business aspect of things.
Okay.
Within myself, continue growing, continue
Mhm.
healing, continue knowing that this journey never ends. Like there's never gonna be a day that we're gonna be like, you know what, I'm done healing, I'm done growing. Um,
Mm.
because there's always I feel like this healing journey, it's just uncovering layers. And every time, like,
Like an
I
onion. Like an onion.
exactly.
Yeah.
An endless onion, I would
An
guess.
endless one. No,
Um,
that was my my reference for the Shrek fans. You know, anyone who's out there.
Yes, exactly. Um, uh, so continue growing because
Yeah.
it's so essential to keep on seeking that inner growth. And I always say, like, I don't think I could feel more at peace or happier. And then I discover or I uncover something or I heal from something or I start the healing process in a certain process and I feel more me.
Mm.
And I think that's beautiful. Like right now, I just went to this retreat, the women's retreat, right after Date with Destiny. It sounds like I'm a seminar
You're
junkie.
yeah, you're in
Really,
a
go to
retreat
some
seminar
my
machine.
was UPW, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, it's UPW, DW, Day with Destiny, this women's retreat, and then the other one, the trade
The
something?
trade seminar,
Trade
yes.
seminar, yeah. I mean, that's
Uh,
great. Keep the momentum. It's
yes,
compounding and a lot of
exactly,
action. That's great.
definitely. But at that retreat, I went for it was like a women's business retreat, and but it was very spiritual as well. We had a shaman come in and, yes, that's a whole
Wow,
'nother story.
that's so great. I
Absolutely
mean, the one
wonderful.
shaman I'm the most familiar with only because I mean, in DC in the news is
Mhm.
the shaman who went into the Capitol and he had the horns on his head.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
know about that.
oh, yeah, I mean, different conversation.
Mhm.
Basically, when
Yeah.
there was like the event at the Capitol,
Mhm.
like the US Capitol, there was a guy who went in, he had horns on his head,
Oh, okay.
and he was dubbed the shaman. So
Mm,
it's nice to know there's a different connotation, a different association in this sense. Oh, maybe
definitely.
was it the same guy? No,
No.
very different missions, different missions.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely wonderful. She walked in, I didn't know who she was and I got chills, but they give off a different energy and, with Master Co, all of the energy work and everything.
Yeah, yep.
But I healed from something that I didn't know I had to heal from, and it was like a weight was lifted off of me. And it sounds crazy, but this if you look into energy work and energy healing, it is real because I experienced it before even knowing that it existed.
Mm. Wow.
And I felt it within
Mm.
my body. It was absolutely amazing. But anyways, that was the point that I went into this business retreat and I was like, I did not expect any of this, but it was exactly what I needed. So really just this next year and everything, opening myself up to everything and receiving everything with open arms because you never know what you're going to walk into and stepping into my true self, being my true self in everything that I go into and having and living that beautiful state.
Beautiful, beautifully said. A lot of moves coming up. Very excited for what comes next. Of course. Where
Yeah.
do people find you? You said SoFit. What's a nice place to connect with them? To connect with
Mhm.
you? What do
Um, yes. So Instagram, I'm on there as Coach Sophie. Coach Sophie SOFI, and then it's a little underscore.
It's actually really. You also know Sophie could be so like lo-fi, right? That kind of
Mhm.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like SoFi, it's like another kind of area than music. So
Oh, I
nice,
love
nice little target. Yeah.
it. Yeah, so Coach Sophie, and then Facebook, I'm on there, Sofia Salem, that's my last name. And if you're in Florida or in Boca Raton ever, then I'm right here.
Are you Arabic?
No, so my dad's side of my family is Palestinian. So, but
Or
they're
are you
both
Arab? Are you Arab, not Arabic? Are you Arab? Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
I understood.
Jeez. Come
My
on,
dad's
Bruce.
side of my family,
Rookie. Oh my goodness. It's early. It's early. Come on.
I get it. I get it.
You're saying some of your family's Palestinian?
Yeah, so my dad's side, like they're both Ecuadorian, but my dad's side, like my dad's grandfather's family comes from Bethlehem,
So your
Palestine.
great grandfather
Yes.
is oh wow, great. Great.
Yeah, that's why the eyebrows, the dark
Oh, that's the
features.
eyebrows. Oh, I didn't I mean, oh okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Bethlehem, the house of bread, right? As they say. House of bread.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, so yeah, Sophia Salam, Coach Sophie, and I'll put this stuff down there.
Mhm.
Anywhere else, or that's
For
more?
now, that's where I am. I am building up my website and everything right now.
Yeah, beautiful. Day by day.
Yeah.
Before the last question, just want to say, of course, thank you for coming on. but also just in general for yourself. I think the gratitude other people can have is, other Latinas who are listening to this, or other people who are struggling with taking care of their health and going through it with means that are really counterintuitive and just actually destructive. I think thanks for
Mhm.
going on the journey and figuring out what is necessary to actually be healthy.
Yeah.
And I mean, just taking the initiative to turn your pain into passion and ultimately serving others, which always comes back and even gives your life, from what I perceive, a stronger sense of purpose, the pull that comes from that, and also the courage that also came from leaving something that you loved but you weren't passionate about, which definitely
Yes.
it's awesome. Keep it up. Yeah, just incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude is so strong. That's something that I think we all need to practice a little bit every single day.
100%. Just did my priming, so we're good to
Yeah,
go.
that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
The last section that we like to just conclude on is a little nugget of wisdom to elevate like Zeus. So
Mhm,
the story of Zeus, just in very short summation. I mean, as you know, born to Cronus and viewed him as a threat, so he was outcasted. Um, Lived with the everyday common people, worked his way back up through trials, tribulations, challenges, and managed to ultimately, free his siblings, who Cronus swallowed, and became Zeus. Uh,
mhm,
so, what nugget of wisdom would you be able to give for someone who really they have the inner potential, they have the ability to do incredible things, but they're either in a place where they sense that all is lost,
mm,
or that they just need a boost? What's a nugget of wisdom that Coach Sofi, SoFit, can
mhm.
can give them to help them out?
I think if you feel lost, choose one aspect that you wanna become better in, and choose one habit, one thing, and it's, something that we call the seven-day contract, where it's stick to it for 7 days, and it could be the smallest thing where if you feel completely down and just you wanna start on your health journey, you don't know where, eat a vegetable at a meal every day for 7 days, and start very small, because when you start small, it's gonna make those things seem a lot more doable. If you try to do everything all at once, where it's, "I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna exercise every single day, and I'm gonna wake up at 5 AM, and I'm gonna go to sleep at 8 o'clock, and I'm gonna read a book every single day," you're gonna get so overwhelmed.
Mm,
and and it's gonna make it seem impossible, but really it is possible. And really the only person that needs to believe in you is you, because a lot of times people feel like they don't have that support, or they feel like they need all that. If you feel like you don't have support, there's so many people out there that are willing to give you all that love and support. And if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, like I'm always there to help. And I have so many people that I haven't worked with, but being able to motivate them and inspire them a little bit is absolutely beautiful. But start small. Like one little thing, one little action can take you so, so far.
Beautiful. Baby steps, a little action, and see where it goes. And 7-day contract.
The 7 day.
And just got to sign that contract and just
If
commit
you
to
see
it.
that you can stick to it for 7 days, it's like, "Okay, this is," and then it's like you elongate it little by little, and then you add one little thing, and, like, those like, let's say it was, "Okay, I'm gonna drink a cup of water, 8 cups of water a day," or, "I'm gonna drink a cup of water when I wake up during
Mm,
this." And it's like, "Okay, I was able to do that, what else can I do?"
mm,
But it shows you that you have to start keeping those promises to yourself. And um as people, we're so used to giving, and especially the feminine aspect, we're so used to giving and giving and giving, that women have stopped to learn how to receive.
mm,
And
mhm,
you have to give to yourself, and you have to show up for yourself the same way that you show up at 4 o'clock because you had that appointment with somebody else. Make those appointments with yourself and keep those promises, because once you start keeping those promises to yourself, you're going to build up that self trust.
mm. That was a master class. That was a master class you just gave.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, yeah, to your point of how you actually construct the aspect of how you can give, the
Mhm,
gratitude,
mhm,
and the action steps, the small baby steps, and how it compounds.
mhm.
Super simple, but you know the we make it more complicated than it needs to be. And
Yeah.
just like you're saying, baby steps, take the small action.
We like to complicate things.
We do. It's easier to complicate things than to make them simple or
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah, kind of a weird, but excellent. I loved it. 7-day contract. I'm actually going to take that into note. Before the new year, you have about a week, so
What is your
we're
goal?
gonna. Oh my goodness, many goals. For sure. Many goals. I actually would like to have, just off the bat, before the new year starts, have like 3. I don't like saying the word clients. I mean, I know that's just semantics, but I mean, I'll play the game. Having clients, people that I work with that are like people that I will work with into 2022 and beyond, but just to keep that momentum going. Because
Def
now I am helping people just with mindset, with questions, with ideas.
Mhm.
And, I love doing it even for free. But, at the end of the day, we do got to eat, and there's got to be some of that stuff. So just finding a way to tie that in. But yeah, I mean, out of the many goals, that's one that I think resonates with us both since we're both
Mhm.
in this area. To
Definitely.
have 3 people to work with and really solidify that.
That's
But
beautiful.
baby
You
steps,
have this in recording, so now you have to go make it happen. I know.
Oh no, shoot. So it was a trap. It was a trap. Oh boy. You see? That's why I usually keep things to myself. No, it's great. And no, you're totally right. You're totally right. I'm gonna write that 7-day contract. Each day reach out to someone and
7-day contract, yeah, and that's where it's make it goals that you're in control of. A lot of people, like, when I ask my clients, "What's your goal this week?" They tell me, "Lose 2 pounds," and I'm like, "No, make it something that you are in control of, where it's maybe you're not necessarily in control of if the client sign on or not, but I'm gonna take the actions that can get you there." So for them, I always say, are you going to get your steps in? Are you going to get in your balanced meals? Are you going to, like, what is it that you're going to do? The habits that you can build that are going to get you to that goal rather than
because
focusing
yeah,
on that.
because even though the 2 pounds was specific, there wasn't necessarily the action step. Because some people say
Exactly.
just lose weight, but like, no, be specific. Okay, lose 2 pounds.
Because you're
Wait
not
a second.
necessarily in control of, like, if you lose the 2 pounds or not, but you're in control of the actions that you take in order to get
Mm.
you
Okay, so you're not in control of the outcome.
there.
You're more in control of the process or
Mhm.
whatever you can
Exactly.
input to give yourself the best chance to achieve that outcome.
And, like, I mean, like, you can lose the 2 pounds, but it could be in 2 weeks instead of 1. But if
Mm,
you know that you're taking all the steps that to get you there and you're doing everything in your power to get you there, the same thing like with the clients, if you're taking calls and you're messaging and you're reaching out and everything, you know that you're doing everything in your power to get you there too.
mm.
Like,
Excellent.
you can
Okay.
still focus on getting those clients, definitely, I'm not telling you not to. Please do. They need your help. But also it's like, okay, let me focus on the action steps that are gonna get me there too.
Mm. Beautiful. So I love it. Love it. Take the action steps, baby steps,
Yes.
and see where things go. Well, I think we'll wrap up there until at least next time. Miss Sophia, I'll say gracias, shukran, thank you
Muchas
for
gracias.
coming on. Everyone, I hope you really enjoyed Sophia today. Gave us a lot of wisdom about health, about the psychology, different recommendations, how to be a queen, a badass, how to become the king within.
Yes.
I mean, these are just
We
incredible. The
need queens
guru
and
again.
kings in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And until next time, this is Zeus with Bruce. Adios.